I mean, the big story, of course, it still echoes from that incredible day yesterday as tens of thousands of Israelis celebrated hostage reunions in Tel Aviv. The world watched Trump broker Middle East deals and ramp up pressure on Russia over Ukraine with promises of missile support. Now, after securing releases and showing tough leadership, many now back Trump's bold approach. Could he be the one to finally bring global conflicts like Ukraine to an end? Is that possible? Let's firstly speak to Audrey Macalpine, journalist joining us from Tel Aviv. Audrey, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Lovely to have you with us. I mean, we can't really overstate, can we, just how incredible that moment was yesterday. And, you know, it was powerful. It was long overdue. We were all delighted to see it happen, and we mourn and we feel sad for those that have lost their lives and perished. But it was a point where we think it's not been like this for a couple of years. This is incredible. Trump, love him or hate him, has a kind of interesting personality that seems good at just waving that big stick and making people do stuff that they've dilly-dallied with for years. So he's a strong guy. Can he use this power, this charm elsewhere is the big question, Audrey.
Well, ultimately, it's Putin who can end the war, and he's only going to do that when he's staring down the barrel of defeat. But I do believe that Trump can force him to stare down this barrel. And it's not a question of diplomacy, right? We've seen since Trump took office, he's attempted diplomacy with Putin, but it has not worked. We saw that culminating with this visit to Alaska. But what he can do is force his hand militarily and possibly economically. I don't think one alone will make Putin do that. For example, I don't think just strong sanctions on their own will force Putin to the table. But militarily, of course, if his military is losing, there's not much that he can do. And we're seeing that now with this question of Tomahawk missiles, these long-range missiles that could potentially hit areas like Moscow or St. Petersburg, but would ultimately, of course, be headed towards Russia's infrastructure or oil infrastructure, an infrastructure that feeds the front line. But whether this is just a bit of a threat from Trump, whether he would actually give Ukraine the intelligence to use that, that is the big question. There was an article in the Telegraph how Trump might be perhaps picking up a big stick instead now if he did give them the capability of using these Tomahawks. And it's just one brick in the house, the Tomahawks, but it alone would not, of course, end the war, but it's the right direction.
And of course, as you rightly alluded to there, Putin isn't the kind of man that's just going to stick his hands up and go, "Oh, guys, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. You're right all along. Here, have some land back." That's not going to happen. Whatever the choreography, as it appears to me, and I'm sure many others, Audrey, is that whatever move Putin makes, he's got to do that in a way that looks as if he's not conceding to anything. That's important for his own politics, for his own image, for his own power back home, I guess.
It is. That's the one thing. That's the one way to get to Putin. He does not want to be defeated. He can handle civil unrest within his country. We've seen that. They're very quick to silence any opposition. They can even handle a recession in their economy. But defeat, military defeat, is the one thing that he won't allow. So we have to, he must be forced to face the prospect of a military defeat. And Ukraine alone can't do that. But perhaps with U.S. backing, if the U.S. said, we will give you all the military might that you need to continually hit Russia where it hurts, to slowly sort of strangle their supply line to the front line. And it won't happen overnight, but it could happen over a period of many months, for example. That would be the way to force Putin to the negotiating table. And people have been telling Trump this since the beginning, and I think he thought he could negotiate with him, but it proves that this is the only way.
The only way indeed. Audrey, thank you for your time. You stay safe. Audrey Macalpine, journalist based in Tel Aviv, on that issue around what Trump might do. Will Putin respond? Could it be positive? Could there be peace? Let's get